local people, local news and events, local sports, local matters. For all things Lloydminster area, this is Live with Kurt Price.
Hey, thanks for joining us here at the new Lloydminster Nissan. Alexa Conlon joins us today to tell us about the Kayde Foundation in Vermilion and their first ever, and they hope to be first annual, Pregnancy and Infant Loss Memorial Awareness Walk and Run event. We also have Michael Diachuk joining us today to talk about the community health meeting that's coming up on Thursday evening at the Legacy Centre. SwiftNet.ca is now available in Lloydminster, Cold Lake, North Battleford, and surrounding communities. Get local internet that you can rely on with no data caps and starting at just $39.99. And because they're local, you won't spend hours on hold anymore. It's unmatched customer service. Call 306-825-7111 today or visit swiftnet.ca. Well, I want you to keep those nominations coming in for Meals in the Fields and a chance to win a wrap-up party for up to 50 people. Last week, we were out to see Michelle and Randy Gilchrist and family and friends, and they were cruising along. Now, they'd still be cruising along because of this beautiful weather that we had. You could also, though, through our Meals in the Fields contest, win 160 acres of spraying from Bradley Airspray. All you got to do is just visit our Facebook page, nominate your farm or a farmer that you know, and we would like to thank our great sponsors. They are Farm Credit Canada, Diamond 7 Meats, The Tent Guys, Asset Link Heavy Equipment Sales, Vical Agro, Sobeys Lloydminster, Bradley Airspray, and the Gary Melka Foundation. Today is the day. Today is Fuel Good Day, and it couldn't come soon enough. I ran the tank right down. And the Lloydminster District Co-op has 4 gas bars where you can fuel up. 5 cents a litre will be donated to the Lloydminster Public Schools and Catholic School Division, their food programs, and Tess Wack told us they've made the event bigger and better this year.
New this year, we're very excited to include our Southview location with a car wash. So we've added $2 from every car wash will be donated to the rural schools. So we've got Marwayne, Hillmont, Lashburn, Marshall, Kidscotty, Neilburg.
The Lloydminster Lions Club will host their medieval feast on Saturday, September 27th. Kathy and Brent Smithson told us that they are quickly running out of tickets for this fun period event, and that includes a meal, lots of really fun games, and lots and lots of great other stuff to do, like great pictures and things like that. And Kathy told us that if you're looking to come in costume, and they hope you do, they are easy to find, those costumes around Lloydminster.
The Spirit of Halloween has costumes and artistic dance and costume. They have lots. And Lynn absolutely loves dressing you. If you come in and say, I'm going to the medieval feast, she'll dress you, and she's very good at it.
Rod Kirby Day is this Saturday at St. Mary's Field and is one of the main fundraisers for the Lloydminster Minor Football Association. The game this year starts at 2 p.m. at St. Mary's, and there will be a 50-50 silent auction and a concession set up as well. Time now for the Lloydminster Look Back, and for those of us who worked with Graham Brown or understood his tireless work in the community for seniors, it was a sad day last week to hear of his passing. It was a rare time that the man who was behind 2 local television stations was actually on them, but he was in 2002 when he took a step to improve both local TV stations.
CKSA and CITL are making new waves in the Midwest. It's hard not to see many dishes up in Lloydminster neighborhoods, and going satellite is a move the stations have been working on for over the past several months.
Realizing the amount of dishes that were in our area and realizing that it's probably going to be the vehicle in the future for people to get choice into their homes, we needed to be available on that dish too.
Even though negotiations were ongoing between Bell Expressview and Store Choice, Bell was the first to step up to the plate and carry the local stations, which customers were channel surfing for.
It's one of the things that our subscribers are definitely looking for. They want to be able to have their local news, their local weather, local sports programming, and so we receive requests all the time to add additional markets for our local programming.
The response has been fantastic. We've had some great phone calls from people that have phoned in and left messages with us and had called us personally and thanked us. I've seen people in the community that have thanked us. Our advertising community, a lot of our clients have been requesting this for some time and saying, we really think you need to get on the satellite dish, and we knew that. And so we're real pleased to be able to announce that.
Most Midwest residents can pick up the channels from satellite service on 225 and 226. The broadcast range includes Bonnyville, St. Paul, Cold Lake, Meadow Lake, Wainwright, and Provost. Mayor Ken Baker says the satellite launch will benefit the border city in many ways.
I think it's very important that the community is in a position where that they can stay in touch with what's going on, and this will be a really good conduit for our community.
Midwest Broadcasting is currently in negotiations with Star Choice and hopes to have a deal with that satellite provider sometime soon. Nina Gill, NewsHour.
Get your nominations in for Cupcakes for Caregivers and help us recognize healthcare professionals and family members that take care of those that we love in our community and area. You can nominate a doctor, you can nominate a nurse or a home care worker, but you can also nominate those family members that take care of us when we face health issues, when we need it the most. Cupcakes for Caregivers is presented by Sobeys Lloydminster and Umbrella Marketing and Design, Inc. Superior Water specializes in nothing but water, and with 25 years in the business, they're proud and confident that their water and service is superior. For iron filters, water softeners, reverse osmosis distillers, chlorine removal, and H2S odor removal, give Superior Water a call, 780-875-6636, or stop and see them at their 57th Avenue location, right beside Sheepskin Loft, and stay hydrated with pure, clean water. I drink Superior Water because, after all, it is superior water. We'll take a break. When we come back here at the new Lloydminster Nissan, we'll introduce you to Alexa Conlon and the Kayde Foundation.
At CK McKean Roofing, they understand what it took to put that roof over your head for your family. With over 20 years of experience under their belt, they strive to show you that with their workmanship and their integrity. Not all roofing companies are created equal. And that's why CK McKean Roofing encourages you to focus on your most important investments, your home and your family. CK McKean Roofing. Roofers do it on top.
At Diamond 7 Meats, we work with local farm families to provide a high-quality product and a great selection for you. Try our mouth-watering smokies, pulled pork, roast beef, and more, made pure and natural with no additives or fillers. We offer custom processing, and our experienced team works for you to provide a selection of sausage, burgers, and jerkies made to your specifications. Take your grilling to the next level with a Yoder smoker. Complete the grilling experience with a Canadian-made, award-winning line of House of Q barbecue sauces. We're locally owned and operated, and we look forward to seeing you today.
At Lloydminster and District Co-op, membership matters more. Because being part of a co-op means you're connected to something bigger than yourself. From long-held legacy by those who built our communities, to people you call family, friends, and neighbors. When you're a Lloyd Co-op member, you're an owner in a local business that prides itself on purpose alongside profit. You earn cash back, you help support causes that matter most, and you're building a better way of life for the next generation. Membership matters more.
Hello, Lloydminster! We are thrilled to bring the Bin Blitz pop-up sale. This is drop every day, starting Thursday at $25, Friday at $15, Saturday is $5 day, and wrapping up on Sunday with $2 day. Join us on Thursday, September 18 for the first Bin Blitz sale at the Lloydminster exhibition in the Dick Jones Pavilion. The most fun you have ever had saving money.
BioClean Disaster Services is committed, certified, reliable, and will help you get your life back. The communication lines are open with BioClean Disaster Services when they're working on your restoration project to keep you up to date, because taking care of your property and your belongings of course matters, but what really counts is the way that they take care of you. 1-833-246-8326. BioClean Disaster Services is your local restoration company. They're also Lloydminster's largest restoration company, and they will take care of you and your family. BioClean Disaster Services, celebrating 10 years in Lloydminster. Well, we are excited to welcome Alexa Conlon to the program. We have a first-time guest today. So, Alexa, thank you for being here. And thanks for reaching out to tell us about the Kayde Foundation. We're excited to get to know it. Thanks for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
So let's start with what the Kayde Foundation is all about. It's a brand new charity.
Yeah, so we're a registered Alberta nonprofit as of right now.
Okay.
We are in the works of obtaining our charitable status, so stay tuned. That's very exciting.
Okay.
So we are like the first one around here, I think, that I'm familiar with, aside from the cities and whatnot, is a perinatal loss support service program foundation. And so what we do is huge on like continuing support. So there's a lot of, supports in the critical first hours, what our healthcare system is sustained to do and educated to do. And so the gap really lays in, the continuing care, and, grief is forever, the healing process is forever, and we kind of get lost in that system. When I lost our son in 2022, that's immediately where I started to identify all the gaps in the care. I'm also a nurse myself, and so very well versed in the healthcare system and whatnot. And so being able to, close some of those gaps for our rural communities, we often get forgotten, us rural folks. There's a lot of, resources in the city and whatnot. And so we're also actually working with Lloydminster Labor and Delivery Unit right now to have companion support. So when a family is experiencing loss, we can be a call to take, the pressure off your nurse and physician to show up in the way that you need it. Until you've been there, you honestly have no idea. And so to be that call to know that, your patients are in great hands by moms who've walked this journey, and being able to provide all of their options, make sure that, there's no regrets. This is very concrete, this loss in general, right? And so to have no regrets, be able to meet and create that relationship right away, and then continue on for as long as you need us.
When you were creating the Kayde Foundation, were you surprised that there wasn't, or that at how many people were shocked that there wasn't?
Yeah.
Because that's the reaction that when I've been telling people, we have you coming on to talk about this new organization, the reaction has been, I'm surprised that doesn't exist already.
Yeah. And I think it's a big responsibility on lost parents to create these resources. There's one in Edmonton, there's a big one in Calgary. But again, those aren't our neighbors, right? They're not able to just drive down and meet us. And there's a bereavement team in Red Deer, but 72 hours after we were discharged, I got a phone call being like, hey, how's it going? That's not really the phone call I needed in that moment. And so it's really fostering those strong relationships and being able to walk into your postpartum room or meet you for coffee a month later if that's when we're meeting you, or 10 years down the road. I've had moms reach out that have lost 20 years ago, and we're like, we would have given anything to have this foundation, to have you there to support us. And so, how can we really, really support you, and not just in a way that is cold and clinical, that is checking off a box on our checklist of what we have to do that day when we arrive to our job. And it's, just that ongoing support and love, compassion and empathy. Anything you need, we can be that person for you.
What is the reaction from other healthcare workers and from our politicians?
Well, healthcare workers, very, very, very receptive. When I first met with Lloyd Maternity Unit, they couldn't have our services in there faster. And even, again, coming back to that, if you haven't been there, you don't get it. I was talking to them about, signing a birth and a death certificate all in the same breath is one of the hardest things you will ever do. How are we presenting that paperwork? They're like, we haven't even thought of that. I'm like, you wouldn't though, because you're in shock too. And that is your job, is to get the paperwork done. We have things we have to do from, our nursing perspective, but how can we gently provide this and the information and the supports to our patients? funny that you ask about the politicians. I did write a letter to Adriana LaGrange and Garth Roswell as well, just very openly talking about the crisis that is rural healthcare specific to loss. And they were very quick to come back and say, well, there's this program in Calgary, and they received $760,000 over a 3-year period. I'm like, okay, that's great, but that's still not fixing our rural issue and our rural concerns, right? And so following that, I did put in an application to have October 15th, which is October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. Honing in on October 15th specifically is the Wave of Light. And so at 7 p.m. local time, you light a candle and let it burn for 1 hour, and essentially it creates a wave of light around the world. And so it's a simple way to honor the baby. A lot of people aren't comfortable having the conversation or saying the baby's name, and that's totally understandable. But this is a simple way that you can light the candle. And so the Alberta government has officially recognized that. So it's on like their special days calendar, and they will promote it. And just, again, it's a way to create the conversation and challenge that narrative.
It's interesting you say that, because I'm hesitant to ask you about the Kayde Foundation.
No, say his name. I love, love, love. You know, that, as his mom, you know, I'm there to protect him. I'm there to, you know, keep his legacy going now. That's the only thing I have left to do as his mom, and learn to parent a child that's not here, and this is my way of doing it. And so when, you know, my husband and I were trying to think of a name, I wanted it to be very inclusive of all babies. I didn't want, yes, it's his legacy and I'm carrying it out via the foundation, but I also wanted everybody to feel safe in this space, and that it's not just Kayde, it's your baby too, whatever you've named them. And ultimately, like the Kayde Foundation, it was just strong. He was a strong boy. He was all of the things, and so this really just encapsulates all of that. And, you know, for me personally, and everybody's going to be different, one of the most honorable things you can do for him is continue to say his name.
Alexa Conlon is our guest with the Kayde Foundation, and I'm wondering about those resources. What can we do? What can we do for moms that are grieving?
So definitely,
and not just moms, dads too.
That's just it, right? And I think that that's a huge gap as well. And, you know, I'm not a man, so I don't get it, but I am married to one, and, you know, we grieve very differently. Understandably, we walk very different journeys through conception, pregnancy, and then, you know, top it off with loss, and a very unexpected loss. We never expect this to happen, right? And so I do have a lost dad who is going to become a part of our board. He's very passionate about having the conversation, and in a very gentle way, right? And so that's extremely exciting for us, is to, you know, show that it's okay, that dads are hurting and whatnot. But within the foundation, we have, there's a huge gap in, you know, you present a pamphlet in the hospital and you're like, okay, you know, eventually maybe you'll need therapy resources. Well, here's therapists, call them, leave a voicemail, they'll get back to you. To expect someone walking lost to, first of all, pick up the phone and dial the number, let alone have to leave that voicemail as to why you're calling and then wait. So it was very important to me that we close that gap immediately. So I've partnered with one therapist for sure, in a way that we can create that relationship. We trust the work that they're doing, and we know their heart, and then we can go ahead and be like, no, we will book the consultation for you. And if you guys find you're a good fit, then she can go ahead and just book those other sessions. We will do that for you. Take that away from you, that pressure to, you know, reach out. We have resources on, you know, support groups, peer support groups, in a way that, like, we had one last weekend, our first one, and it was called the Brave Round. And so it was a boxing class for us moms. And when I tell you, that was so freeing, not only to punch something, but just hear the mom around you with that, like, that power in that punch. And it's just like, you're letting go of so much. And then after we had, some drinks and just talked for a half an hour. And it really took off that pressure of walking into a room and being like, okay, this is why I'm here. We know why you're here. You don't need to just preface the whole thing. So we have that. We have some yoga ones coming up where it's teaching you breath work, like when grief is really heavy that day. How are we breathing through that? So giving you actual life skills. And of course, the emotions are always welcomed, but they're never expected. Like, there's not this expectation on you. So we have that. There's virtual groups, in person, bereavement support boxes, the companion support. We have on there how to request your medical chart if that's part of your healing journey. There's tons. There's social media resources. We have like a link tree on our socials. And so when and if you're ready, you can just click that one link and it has everything for you.
None of that was there for you?
No. Right. I sat on Google for hours and days and months, and he'll be 3 on Sunday, years. And I had to find all of these resources. And I did it because I didn't have a choice. But going forward, I don't want anybody to have that expectation. And I know of a mom who lost her little boy a few weeks ago, and I was saying that I was going to the city for a therapy appointment, and would you like the information? And she was like, absolutely. I was dreading having to find someone. I'm like, okay.
So you mentioned you have one therapist. Is there a therapist that specializes in this particular in total loss or infant loss?
Generally, it's perinatal loss,
Okay.
the broad umbrella, birth trauma, infertility, all types of loss. And just because it is a very unique and complex grief and processing. And so it's becoming more popular now, I would say, of people diving into that perinatal loss because we're identifying that gap.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you like people that if there's therapists out there that are watching this, would you like them to reach out to you?
Absolutely.
And say, hey, we can be a resource.
Yeah. One of the biggest things is I love to meet people one-on-one. So whether you're volunteering to pick up garbage at our event or you're volunteering as, a companion support worker, I want to know that you're doing whatever you are doing with the same love, compassion, empathy, and understanding that the Kayde Foundation, because you are, a walking version of us, right?
Kind of a billboard, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a call with them. We just make sure we align, build that relationship, and then, once we have that relationship established, we can feel comfortable sharing you with our lost families.
You mentioned it's hard and I totally understand how hard it would be to reach out to a therapist. How do you encourage ladies out there, men as well maybe, to reach out to you? How do you reach these women who maybe I don't want to pick up the phone, or I don't know if I should, or how do you get in touch with, and how do they get in touch with you?
So a lot of it lately has been word of mouth. And so obviously we're in a time where social media is huge. And so I've been posting lots about just what our foundation is, our values, our mission, what we're doing on not only a local level, but we have that declaration now, so a federal level. And it's, showing everything that we're doing and can do. And I don't know it all, and I don't want to know it all. And so I think it's very important that people come to us with what supports they may need, and we can develop that for them because we have the ability to do so. So word of mouth is huge. We all doom scroll. We're all guilty of it. So when you're scrolling, hopefully we, pop up on your algorithm and your feed when you need us. And even if you send a message that way, I've had lots. Within 5 minutes of launching the foundation, I had emails coming in from lost moms being like, we need you. What does this look like? We need more. And so that really solidified it for me as, no, this is a resource that is desperately, desperately needed. And so social media is a huge one, especially if you don't feel comfortable picking up the phone, to maybe text a message, or, we've had people that are like, we know someone who's just lost. we sent them your information. Hopefully they reach out. And so that's a big thing. Once we build a relationship with the hospital and the nurses feel confident in being like, there is this support, and you know, they're amazing, and they will meet you exactly where you're at. We have our resource, the link tree I was mentioning. We also have one for healthcare professionals. So what I envision for this whole foundation is a hub of, no matter if you are someone supporting like a nurse or a physician, if you are a family or a friend, if you are a lost family, you know that you have a safe place to come for support. Lost families know that we can pick them up in that critical hours or years after loss. But not only that, we're also influencing and walking this journey with the providers that are going to be responsible for your care. Again, we're always coming back to that. If you haven't been there, you don't know, and to expect, you know, our medical professionals to just know how to appropriately provide bereavement care. It's an unfair expectation. The expectation is that you learn. And so we're here to do that as well. I sit on, you know, the Canadian Collaborative for Stillbirth Prevention, International Perinatal Excellence. So that's taking courses to be able to work with the healthcare providers of what the bereavement care is, verbiage and all of that. And so the biggest platform we're on is Instagram. So it's just the Kayde Foundation, as well as Facebook. And we do have our website, which is linked on those as well. I would give you the link, but we have the Wix one that's a little long right now.
Right.
But I can always provide you with that link. So there's a few different ways to connect with us.
Maybe put it in the comments section.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think there might be some people who would be surprised about immediately have people reach out to you. As a nurse, I bet you weren't.
Mm-mm.
I bet you weren't at all
Mm-mm.
surprised by that.
No.
Yeah. What do you need? What do you need?
What do we need? We need to get the word out that we exist, that we are here for you. We're here for your family members, your patients, and we get it. We're walking proof that you can survive this journey. One of the big things, I also have a podcast. It's called Beyond the Birth Story, which I launched in January with zero expectations. I started it in my storage room in my house, and I'm booked until next January with episodes, because I was like, I am not the only one that is like sitting in my silence, in my grief, with a story to tell. Our son passed due to a uterine rupture, which 0.07% of people, pregnant women, will experience. That is a very lonely statistic. And when I got home from the hospital, of course, Google was my enemy. But then I started to get all these numbers and statistics, and my nursing brain my wheel was going of trying to understand. So it's prevention too. It's empowerment of moms. Like when you lose, whether that's infertility, full-term stillbirth, infant loss, child loss, at some point your safety, your voice, your control, everything was taken away from you. And how can we give you that power back? So pregnancy after loss is a huge component of the Kayde Foundation as well, of how can we walk that with you. I delivered a 28-weeker last June who was my pregnancy after loss baby. And looking back now, I see how disconnected and scared, and I don't have any pictures. And it wasn't a conscious decision. It was a way to protect myself and kind of, prepare for the next blow that could come. When is the next shoe going to drop? And so, yeah, there's a lot that we want to do. My vision just keeps growing and growing, and I'm the type of person I want it done, 3 years ago when I needed this. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to be patient and wait for it all to kind of unfold. But definitely what we need is, just share us. Share. We have our walk coming up. It's, we have lots of different components of the walk, but it comes down to awareness. It comes down to at least one day this year you will have a safe place to feel the heavy emotions if you need. And we have memorial badges made up. So it's I Walk, Run For. And then, it's an opportunity to see your baby's name on your friend or family member who's walking with you, like that. Coming back again to saying their name, it's so powerful just to see that, because my living children, I see their names all the time. People are talking about them, but my middle baby, He has a name, and we need to say it.
Tell us more about that walk. When is your walk?
Yeah, so next Sunday, September 21st, kickoff is at 10:30, so we're assuming it as our grand launch. We launched on socials, but the first official big event, and so we have actually a letter from Danielle Smith to read. She sent us one, and we have like a moment of silence. There's a barbecue, face painting, balloon animals, glitter tattoos, games, a photo op, walking through grief will be there. We have some cuddle cot information, which again is a huge education piece, is a cooling cot. All of the rural hospitals around here right now have them donated by lost families, but it's a way to buy hours, if not days, with your baby. So lots of information on that. We have candles made up, specifically Kayde Foundation candles with the Wave of Light information on them. Lots of sponsors for, big balloon arches for the start and finish. And yeah, so we're going to kick the walk off at 11 is when we'll walk with the group. So 5-kilometer run, if you're into that, or 3-kilometer walk, which I'm a walker. You'll see me walking. And then barbecue to follow, come and go until 3 p.m.
Do you need to pre-register?
Ideally, yes. A big thing with that, even for coming and going, but when we report back at the end of the year of how has our foundation impacted our community, we can present concrete numbers of like, this is what we've done and this is what our community needs. The cities, that's fine, they need what they need, but this is what we need, and there's power in numbers. And so you can pre-register. Again, I can comment that link, and or you can register when you get there on the day of as well.
Is there anything I'm forgetting?
Oh my gosh,
Alexa.
I don't think so. I could talk forever. But yeah, no, we exist, and please share us with all of your family and friends that are, walking this healing journey. It's a long one, and it's impossible, I think, to do it by yourself. And so just to sit across the room from another mom or dad who gets it, there's this special bond. If we don't even have to talk, we just, your heart, and you're there to agree that this sucks and it shouldn't happen, but it does. And so we're here for you. And yeah, this is why we're here, is to just walk this journey with you. Carry a bit of your grief if we can.
Well, thank you for doing this, Alexa.
Thank you.
And thank you for reaching out to us.
Yes.
We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
It's been an eye-opener this morning, and it's been a pleasure to tell people about the Kayde Foundation and how you're coming on. So I know it's very needed, and we appreciate you coming today.
Thank you. Yeah, this is my first news interview, so thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. We'll take a break, and when we come back, Michael Diachuk will join us, and we will be talking about healthcare in our community and your concerns and how to get those concerns out on Thursday night.
How can you help support the oil and gas industry and jobs in Western Canada? The answer is closer than you think. Sell your scrap metals to PWM Steel. PWM sells scrap iron to Evraz, located in Regina. Evraz's #1 customer is the energy sector, building pipes and plates for the oil and gas industry. PWM Steel is your locally owned metal recycler and steel service center in the area. Plus, they're a strong supporter of the community. PWM Steel, your top steel supplier for Alberta and Saskatchewan for 40 years.
At Jason Arden Associates Cooperators, we're proud to be a top-rated local insurance company that offers flexible solutions and expert advice for all your insurance and investment needs. We'll work with you to tailor your insurance specific to your needs, and we offer investment advice that always puts you first. At Cooperators, one of our core values is to give back to the communities that we live in. Thanks to the support of our clients in Lloydminster and area, in 2023, Jason Arden Associates has donated $40,000 to local nonprofits, charities, students, athletes, and other special events. How does your insurance company support our community?
I'm Brian Zinchuk of PipelineOnline.ca. I used to be a pipeliner, and I've spent the last 15 years reporting on energy in Saskatchewan. PipelineOnline.ca provides comprehensive coverage of light oil, heavy oil, lithium, helium, power production including coal, wind, solar, geothermal, natural gas, and nuclear. There's a lot happening in Saskatchewan's energy sector, and Pipeline Online is there for all of it. No one else comes even close.
It's more than just taxes at LNA CPA. Assurance, accounting, retirement planning, estate planning, business consulting, financial consulting, farm program support, and bookkeeping. But yes, there is always taxes. The team at LNA CPA is committed to helping you achieve your best results and will be there to assist you every step of the way. LNA CPA, with offices in Provost, Vermilion, and Lloydminster.
Welcome to Wellings of Lloydminster and a community of ageless explorers. At Wellings, age is but a number and adventure is always part of the day. Come experience care freedom living at Wellings of Lloydminster, where adults 55 plus enjoy a vibrant, stress-free way of life with a whole lot of fun. Stop in and say hello to their new general manager, Nicole, at 7211 72nd Avenue on the Alberta side, and visit wellingsoflloydminster.com for more. Wellings of Lloydminster, care freedom living starts here. I want to welcome you back inside the new Lloydminster Nissan. Michael Diachuk is our guest. He's here to talk about the Community Health Night that is coming up on Thursday. And this night has, I think it will become an annual thing. Michael, thanks for being here first.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for the invite. And I'm here, and obviously our chair, Paul Richet's over opening with the dialysis opening, and
that's pretty exciting.
He texted me and said, "Would you go?" I'm the vice chair or assistant chair. I'm not sure. Some kind of a chair, anyways. But maybe a recliner chair. But so yeah, I'm here, and you know what? It's the second go at it, and it might even be third unofficially, because I think there have been previous times we've had health sort of meetings with both provinces and healthcare being represented. So we're looking forward to having a great turnout.
So it's Thursday night. Who will be there?
Well, I have the list. So Derek Miller from Saskatchewan Health, Julia Pemberton, who's a new VP, and from AHS, Christine Sewell. Those are the folks, and they have a number of pre-administered questions they're going to speak to and give presentations.
Okay. And is there an opportunity for people there to ask questions?
Absolutely. I think, at this point, memory serves me right, there'll be an opportunity to provide some written questions as well. And we're going to also have an open mic forum where you'll get 60 seconds or thereabouts to ask your question. What we want to be able to do is keep it on track, and it's not about it's not a forum to stand up and espouse a platform or whatever it is, but it's more about what did your question get to the point, because we want to give as many people the opportunity to ask the questions that and get the answers.
That's a great idea, to keep it to 60 seconds. Yeah, I like that idea. Then less opinions, more what can we do?
Yeah, and let's get at it.
Yeah. Is that what this is all about? Like, let's solve some problems in our community? What do you hope to kind of achieve?
Well, backtrack a bit. I think, one of the challenges that we've been wrestling with and sort of putting this together, and I think over the past year as well, is that when we hosted the last one, I don't know what portion of the responses we got from the provinces, in particular Saskatchewan Health, but many of the responses were that'll be taken up in the study. And it's been the third go at the study, 2007, 2013, and many people, I think, left thinking, well, what's new? Like, change the data on the report, because that's, in essence, what happened last time. So I think this forum in particular is going to say, so what have you found that's different? And more importantly, so now what? So who's accountable? And I know with council, those are the kind of questions that we've been asking at SUMA and as well as Alberta municipalities. And I think, by and large, our public and our neighbors and friends and everybody who lives in Lloyd is saying, well, this is the third time. Why are we doing this and spending the money that we're spending in this study? So let's get at the answers, and let's find some direction, because certainly there are a lot of challenges that were identified in the 07 and 13, and now I'm anticipating that there will be many of the same challenges, spoken to as well.
Well, if you watched Paul on our show, on our program, I think you'll know why the study is being done.
Yep.
But
he's very passionate.
Could you maybe take us through why that study, why it was a third study, and why Paul is so passionate, why you guys are so passionate about this has to be done so that it can lead to?
Well, I don't think I can answer all of that, because I think everybody's in it. I think overall we're certainly in it as members of the community, and I know I'll speak for myself as a member of council. I sit on this as a member of the community, and one of the challenges certainly in a community is that people who run healthcare, the powers that be are in Regina or Edmonton, and so people look next door to whoever their councillor is or mayor, and then other people within the community and community committees for that matter. And this is one of the committees that I think in our community has been sort of the touch point where we get, at times I call ourselves the complaint department. And we don't always hear little things. I mean, we hear of, I think one of the issues that I think we played a role in creating some change within Saskatchewan Health is that we had a scenario where a spouse brought their mate to the parking lot in the hospital, unable to transport the person into emergency, but staff don't come out, and that's their protocol. There's safety protocols, and I think we want to respect that as well. But certainly now there's some changes around that where they're a little more direction to be able to make some of those changes. But I think as we've looked at it, there's some of those pieces where we're able to parse out sort of what the challenges really are. And I think one of the pieces for me, I've been about a year on this, is that there really are two separate categories around these issues. And my observation is that there's one category that really is about operational stuff. You know, so why aren't you paving the parking lot? Why aren't you doing this? And then it sort of bleeds into the political part of it. Because if you don't get the money from the provincial government to pave the parking lot, then you can't pave it. But on the other hand, if they gave you the money in the capital budget 3 years ago and you still haven't paid it, sounds to me like that's an operational issue and no longer a political issue. So some of these issues are, you know, Saskatchewan has been sort of, I'm not sure why they haven't acted on the requests and the suggestions that are in the report, but the requests in large part need to be driven by the province, because if you're going to make change and deal with some of the operations, it costs money. And we know that, you know, just even the example in PA, the cost of the hospital from the beginning of the project to the end had increased by almost 50% because of the increase in costs overall. So back to our, you know, committee is that, you know, there's a sense of urgency. The study that had recommendations back in 2007, we had a population of 15,000 or more. And then in 2013, we're 25,000 or whatever it is, and now we're 33 and growing. How are we really being given appropriate health care? And I think in part what we've heard pretty consistently is that people aren't saying we want more or we want extra. In essence, we want the quality of health care that anybody who's in Alberta or Saskatchewan would expect in any other community. And based on numbers and statistics, the number of beds, ICU beds, hospital beds in total, I mean, all of those statistics point to the fact that we're really being underserved.
I know Paul was working on possibly getting this live streamed.
Yes.
Do you know if that was able to?
You know, the last word I'd heard was that one of the individuals was not available, another one was iffy and tied up, and another one was very expensive.
Okay.
And so we're doing this on a shoestring budget. We have, I believe, $500 from SHA that is going to provide coffee and donuts,
right.
And we're still trying to get some of that donated as well, but and the rental of Legacy Centre.
Right. So do you want, like, you mentioned that some of the questions will be in written form too.
Yes.
Can you send those in?
Yeah, what I would do is that...
is that for people who maybe I don't want to stand up and talk in front of the crowd?
We'll be collecting them at the site as well. So you'll have an opportunity, but there are some pre-written ones that are really being sort of driven and generated from the prior reports. So where are we at relative to some of the, you know, the big questions, right?
Right. How do you get younger people out to this? Is that the challenge?
Yeah, you know, that's a really good question, because I think, you know, and just perspective from council, you know, we get told multiple times by different groups that you need to advertise it better. And we go, all right, so how do we do that? And you try social media. So right now, I can't tell you the number of times I've reposted that this is happening. So I have friends across Canada. They're going, what's this meeting about? No, I'm sure they're asking questions. But I know we have posters that have been out. I know that personal invitations, and yet I spoke to a couple of people from the hospital last Thursday, and they had no idea that this event was on. Right. And so I honestly don't know. I'm hoping there may be people that are in the category, younger generation might be listening to this and say, well, maybe I should have a look at it. But I believe the information was also in our local paper. I think the Bean has also had it. And, you know, really, it should be pretty compelling for, you know, a younger generation. If I'm going to say younger is that 25 to 35 age, if I can be so bold. But it's our birth rate is climbing again. So it's back up to, the rates climbed back up to where it was around 2018 or something. And so it was pretty high around then. Our birth rates have come back up again. And that's an important part of our service that we provide here. Yeah,
and for my generation, it's not only about us, because we're starting to get older too. It's about our parents. Right, finding a way to take care
Yeah.
of them, and it's hard to plan for that. Like from my own perspective,
Yeah.
it's been really, really hard to plan for that. So you don't need to pre-register anything. You
No,
just need to show up.
Yep. Doors open at 6:30, and we want to stay right true on time and start at 7. And we're looking forward to an opportunity where people are going to ask the questions. And more importantly, I think we're looking to hear certainly what Alberta Health and SaskHealth are going to say around so now what.
Right. So have the results of that survey, have they been released?
No, they have not yet.
Okay.
And there have even been some questions about groups that may not have been invited to participate. So I know one Indigenous community and pretty informal conversation about it weren't involved in it. And yet when we always talk about our region, the health service region is about 150,000 people. Those Indigenous communities are part of it.
Absolutely they are.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. And I think that will be one of the questions maybe that will be asked that evening as well.
So will you have the results? Will people get
No,
the results of that?
I don't. The results.
Results of that survey?
Report?
Yeah, of the report, sorry.
Yeah, no, we won't.
I called it a survey,
Yeah,
but
no,
report.
to be clear, yeah. No, we don't have it yet, and I know that, I think they're expected to get it shortly.
Okay.
How long shortly is, I have no clue, and then I guess the other part of it is that, in government fashion, typically it'll be reviewed by government and then an appropriate date for release, so.
Right. It sounds strange coming from a politician in true government fashion.
Well, okay.
I don't want anybody to use that against you, but.
No, I get it. Just other reports, that's what happens.
Yeah,
I mean, I just
yeah.
look at Alberta and Saskatchewan, anytime they've done this where all the reports is due and then it's kind of vague after that because we have to review it and we need to redact. And sometimes stuff is written in there even though, there are guidelines around what should be in and not in. And I mean, the report here said that they weren't looking at any infrastructure. In an email that I know that Paul got back, all they were looking at was service delivery. And in my mind, it was a bit challenging to understand that because, infrastructure is a key part of service delivery. So how do you manage one without the other?
Right.
And I'm interested in seeing how that plays out.
Do you have any results from your letter writing campaign?
Do not.
Okay.
Paul may have it, I don't.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything I'm forgetting?
No, I think, there's, I don't know where people can find the report right now, but I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there between 2007 and 13, which is virtually identical. And I know that when the health ministries met here in Lloyd several months ago yet, before the study had been initiated, part of the challenge in the conversation and that we initiated as well is, so what? So why are we waiting for a third report when the first two are saying do X? You looked at it again and say do X, and what are you waiting for? Like is three times the charm kind of thing, and how does that work? So I think it's, I'm hoping that there's a little more commitment. The conversations have been positive, but ultimately in the end, it's going to cost dollars because it just doesn't happen on its own.
Thanks, Michael.
Right on. Glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
You bet. We'll be with you tomorrow. And I did want to mention the Wheels at Work. Is the Mighty Machines are today.
4 o'clock.
Yeah, the one that got in August. We had the big storm.
The weather was.
And 4 o'clock this afternoon.
4 o'clock this afternoon, Bud Miller. Yeah.
I saw the firefighters had shown that they'll have a couple of vehicles there, a couple of trucks there. So yeah, that's something I think the kids will be interested in if you want to head out to Bud Miller this afternoon. And then tomorrow we're going to talk to Lloyd Wine Outfitters. We're going to find out about their program and a special event that they've got coming up. Plus, there's a Jim Croce tribute coming to the Vic Juba Theatre. And we're going to talk to Jim Hewitt about that. And that I'm a big Jim Croce fan. I'm a big fan of the storytelling music that he had in the 70s. So we'll find out more about that show, that tribute at the Vic on September the 29th.